Alright, so I had some people say to let them know anything they feel they would have to know about the Nissan Leaf, like extra cost or something, because some of them are considering getting a used Nissan Leaf like I did. So the very first thing I would say is make sure it's a 2013 or newer, because Nissan kind of led the field in EVs or electric vehicles. And so when they first came out, the 2011s, 2013s, there were some minor bugs to work out. They were still good cars, but there were some things they had to figure out, and they got some feedback from the customers, and so they made some improvements on the 213 model, which is what I have, and it's really, really nice and I love it. So everything 2013 and newer is really, really good. And when I look at all the different things like the Carfaxes and the Car Gurus and Craigslist and all over the place, I see a lot of good deals on 2013s and 2014s. Now, I don't know that all the models newer than that have depreciated very quickly yet, but 2013s and 2014s have already depreciated very rapidly, and they're still high quality cars. They won't have any of the minor bugs and stuff that the 2011, 2012 have. I can't even remember what it was off the top of my head. It might have been a couple battery things, and like maybe like the air conditioning or something like pulled a ton of power from the battery. I don't remember. I can't tell you specifically what it was, but what I can tell you is if you get a 2013 or newer, you won't even have to worry about it. Whatever the issue was, it's been fixed. And then the second thing is try to get one with at least 10 bars. This one had 11 bars when I got it, but since it's over 4 years old, about 2 or 3 weeks in, it switched from 11 bars to 10 bars, which is still really, really good. I'm not 100% certain, but I think like supposedly brand new, these were supposed to like have a 107-mile range or 109-mile range or something, which you never use. Like most people, to make the battery life longer, tend to try not to go past charging it over 80%, but they also try to not ever let it get below 20%. Now, I've already failed on both of those accounts a few times, but I'm pretty consistent most of the time of keeping it in that range. So you think of it, if there's 12 bars and I have 10 bars now, well, say it was 108 miles, you divide that by 12 and you get 9, multiply that by 10 and you get 90. So the full range of this car now with 10 bars is like 90 miles. But I don't want to charge it past 80%, and I don't want to go below 20%. So like 80% of 90 would be 72 miles, and 20% of 90 would be 18 miles. So that would only give me about 54 miles of pragmatic range, or like realistic range. But you can use charge stations, you can charge it at home, like between trips. There's a lot of things you can do so that you have more than 50 miles of range, and that's with 10 bars. If you get 12 bars, obviously you're going to have more range than that, so it would be over 60 most likely. So the thing is that I don't know how charge stations are in your area, but it's most convenient if you can just plug it in when you get home. But as you saw in my one video, I forgot to do that one night, but because of the free power they had at Whole Foods, I was still able to make it do everything I wanted, and I didn't even go below that 20%. That's how well it worked. Those 240 volt chargers, even though they're not the speed chargers, still charge a lot faster. Like, you know, I just cruised and had a nice meal, and you know, you throw like another 6 to 19 miles on the car depending on how fast the charger is and how slow you're eating and stuff. So you can definitely make it work, but I would think to myself, if you're going to get one of these, would 50 miles be enough most of the time? Or would it be like a second car where you do in-town stuff? Because they're really cheap, but you just got to realistically assess where you're at, what the charging stations in your area are like. If there's an outlet at work you could park in to if you have to take longer trips. Just assess what's realistic. Now, power in Hawaii is really, really, really expensive. We have this little 1,000 square foot home, and most of us, we're like almost never home. We don't do very much. I have all those little 13-watt bulbs and stuff. The only thing we have that draws a lot of power is I don't think that our refrigerator or our dryer is very energy efficient. So we kind of didn't do things right in that area because we're renters. It's not like we bought them. Like, it's what the landlord gave us. So that draws, but my point is we don't use very much power and our bill is expensive. So most of the time people save a lot when they buy electric cars. I'm still saving money, but I'm not saving as much as most people because power in Hawaii is really, really expensive. But as soon as I get my solar set up, that will help offset the cost a little. It was basically a little under half to pay for the extra power. My power bill went up about a little less than half of what I was paying for gas. But when you look at it, like I went online and calculated, they say 1 gallon of gas is the equivalent of about 33.7 kilowatts of energy. And my average went up just over 4 kilowatts a day. And if I drive about 20 miles a day, I would be using about 20 kilowatts a day, or you're real close to it. It's a real close estimate because my old car was getting like 33 miles a gallon, so I was using about 20 kilowatt hours a day of energy when you do the gas conversion equivalent thingy. So I'm using a lot less gas. I'm using about 25% as much energy is what I meant, not gas, but energy, because these cars are really, really efficient. So if your gas to like power price is the same, then you'll be paying about 25% in the extra power you use as compared to the gas. So you can, like, whatever you're paying in gas, you can subtract about 75%, and that's how much it's going to cost to run your car now. And I'm not aware of any other expenses right now. My insurance went up because I've always had really, really small fuel economy cars, and because of the battery, this car is heavier, so they might think that with the extra weight it can cause more damage and they'll have to pay out more because of an accident. That was a disappointment. And then my registration cost went up because I've always had old used cars, and this is a 2013, so even though it depreciated fast, it's considered a more valuable car than the ones I used to have. So they nailed me on those things. But overall, it's been a lot of savings and stuff. I'm just trying to be transparent. And the one last thing I want to do is actually show you this, the bars here, so you'll know what to look for. So hopefully my steering wheel, so you can see that 47. So like this is like how many bars of energy the battery has right now. So there's like 7 of them. I don't know how good this camera's focused. But then this up here is like the bars left on my battery, and there's like 10 of those. Again, it's not focused enough that you could see well. There used to be 2 more little things on the top. So on this far side thing, the thing with the 2 little red things and then the 8 little white things on top, you're looking for something with at least 10, but more ideally, you would like it to have like 11 or 12. Because that will give you a better battery and better range and longer battery life. Because the more bars you have now, the more time it's going to take for you to drop below 9 or 8 bars. Like in 4 years, this battery has lost 2 bars. And that's about right, because they guarantee that you're going to have at least 9 bars for 6 years. And if you go under 9 bars in less than 6 years, then they end up like replacing the battery for you. So they don't want that to happen. So it's very likely that I'm gonna have 10 bars and not go below 9 for the next 2 years. I'll probably have quite a bit for a while. And because of the way I drive and stuff, I'll probably still be able to use this car without replacing the battery, even if it goes down to like 8 bars or something. So depending on what you want, you can do a lot without even a full battery. But the batteries are going down over time. I think they're still about 5,500 right now. So right now, replacing the battery is a huge deal and something you don't want to do. But everybody's improving stuff. I mean, Elon Musk is doing so much. So yeah, that's about everything I have to share with people that might be interested in getting one of these. I'm gonna go to the beach now, so I'm putting it into this.